At the end of Matrix Revolutions, Neo teamed up with Deus Ex Machina to end the threat of the former Agent Smith, the virus that would soon infect the entire world. Smith had nearly taken full control of the Matrix, and only Neo could stop him. After an epic battle and nihilistic banter courtesy of Smith, Neo finally accepted the inevitability and allowed himself to be assimilated by the rogue agent. Once Neo was assimilated, Smith was destroyed. Every trace of the agent erased from the Matrix program. Or was it? What if Smith is still a threat to the Matrix and the real world? Welcome to Matrix Explained.
Welcome to the desert of the real.
Hello. As you can see, we've had our eye on you for some time now. I'm going to be as forthcoming as I can be. You're here because you thought Smith had been eliminated. You've made a big mistake.
After Smith was defeated, a truce between machines and humans was established. The Oracle's plans worked perfectly. However, she had to play a very dangerous game.
You played a very dangerous game.
Change always is.
The Oracle caused the infection of nearly the entire simulation, allowing Smith to assimilate everyone in the Matrix and risking the total collapse of the equation, betting everything on the belief that Neo would sacrifice himself for humanity, that he would allow himself to be assimilated by Smith, just as she did. The gamble ended with the destruction of Smith's code. Neo joined Deus Ex Machina at the time of being assimilated. The machine sent an electrical signal through Neo's body, spreading throughout all the Smith-infected vessels, effectively destroying the agent. Smith had infected nearly, if not all, of the inhabitants of the simulation, and because all were connected to the Matrix, the destruction of the Smith virus was instantaneous. But there are ways that Smith could still be alive and reappear in Matrix 4. The first theory as to Smith's survival is the infection of Bane, a red pill who was infected just before disconnecting from the Matrix. His consciousness was replaced by the virus. His memories were erased, his personality changed. Bane was no more. This demonstrated that Smith's power reached beyond the Matrix. The virus was capable of infecting humans who have already woken up to the real world, using their mechanical implants. This is valuable information because the Smith virus could be hiding inside another red pill without anyone suspecting it. Smith could be hiding inside a civilian in Zion, pretending to be another human, waiting for his chance to re-emerge, reconnect to the simulation, and restart his cycle of infection. The alternative option could also be possible. Smith could be hiding inside a blue pill instead. Perhaps he infected a human just before waking up. This human who now lives in the real world carries the Smith virus, like when Neo carried the code of the anomaly. Next, recall that Neo mentioned that Smith would soon infect the real world, including Machine City.
The programmed Smith has grown beyond your control. Soon he will spread through the city as he spread through the Matrix. You cannot stop him.
Possibly Smith managed to sneak his code into a machine in the real world. Instead of waiting in Zion, he could be lurking somewhere in the city of the machines. It is likely, because it would be difficult for Smith to return to the Matrix if his code is inside a machine. He would need help to enter the Matrix. This brings us to the next option. The Merovingian may have in his possession a sample of the Smith virus. This former Matrix operating system has become the Oracle's nemesis. The Merovingian recruits exiled programs to add to his ranks, so it would make sense that if anyone saved a piece of the Smith virus code, it would be him. Actor Lambert Wilson is returning in Matrix 4 as the Frenchman, so Smith may now be nothing more than another exile under the control of the Merovingian. Another option comes from Matrix Online, a video game that continued the story of this universe after the events of Revolutions. It was mentioned how the Smith virus affected other agents, such as Agent Grey. This agent, who was one of the Architect's main enforcers, showed symptoms of being infected with the Smith virus. And our last option of how Agent Smith survived is thanks to the Oracle. As of the recording of this video, it is believed that the next Matrix film takes place in the same sixth simulation of the original trilogy. This is thanks to the leaked images and footage of the film, in which you can see that Trinity's motorcycle is a 2020 model, indicating that the simulation did not restart. It's been over 20 years since the original Matrix, and this is reflected in the leaks. We can deduce that it is still the sixth simulation because it is the year 2020. But does that mean that a new anomaly has manifested in the same simulation 20 years later? What if it is the seventh simulation? Who knows? Perhaps the truce lasted hundreds of years, but the Matrix still had to be rebooted in its entirety, restarting the cycle from zero. This would explain why there is leaked footage of two individuals who look similar to Trinity and Neo jumping off a building. It is as if Neo is going through the same training process. If indeed it is the seventh simulation, both the Architect and the Oracle know that although Smith was dangerous, he is key to the one returning to the source. They know that if Neo chooses Trinity again, he will need massive motivation to join the machines. And there is where Smith comes in. Smith could become a constant, a security measure to force the anomaly to join the machines. When the integral anomaly manifests itself, so will the virus. Remember that the Oracle said that Smith was the result of the equation trying to balance itself.
He is you. Your opposite, your negative. The result of the equation trying to balance itself out.
So if the pre-planned cycle of the one skews again, Smith could be released and everything will play out as it did in Revolutions. Although we do not know for sure if any of these theories could be correct, we know that Smith will return in Matrix 4 because Hugo Weaving himself confirmed earlier this year that he was approached by director Lana Wachowski to reprise his role as Smith in the new movie. Smith was written to be a fundamental role in the plot of the new film, but sadly scheduling issues made it impossible for Weaving to return. So Smith is written in the Matrix 4 script. It doesn't matter whether or not he is played by Hugo Weaving, because Smith has already been played by another person, Bane. That's why we don't believe that the character has been written off the script. We don't know if the Neo or the Trinity that we will see in Matrix 4 are the same ones from the original trilogy, or if the new film takes place in the sixth or seventh simulation. What we do know is that somewhere, somehow, the Smith virus still lives. But do you agree? How do you think Agent Smith will return? Was the character removed from the Matrix 4 because Hugo Weaving couldn't return? Or will the iconic villain be played by another actor? For Matrix Explained, please leave a like and subscribe. And thank you for visiting the Desert of the Real.